Guess what those stories would conclude? Those stories would conclude the possibilities are absolutely endless and unlimited. So number one, imagine the possibilities. Read an inspiring book one more time, how someone went from nothing to something. The story of a Sarah Alfaro who started with $1, now she's rich. Wow. The possibilities, they're unending. Now here's the next step. Imagine that some of the possibilities are possible for you. We call this now faith. Now we start with imagination, now we generate faith. What generates faith? Faith is generated sometimes when the testimonial closes like this. If I can do it, what? You could do it. I started behind. I started under the basement, not in the basement. I started with debt, not surplus. I didn't start with pennies. I had no pennies. Debt's up to here. Finally got it turned around. Now everything's flourishing. That's what we want to hear. And then someone in a testimonial like that says, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. Here's what that does. Reassures our faith. Keep reading, keep listening to the testimonials. One, that excite the imagination as to the possibilities. And number two, helps faith to occur. That what's possible for one is possible for another. Now here's the third step of faith. Or the third step in the miracle process. To deposit your imagination and faith into high activity. Disciplined activity. Not just activity, but skillful, disciplined. Take the classes to learn the skills. Get around people that'll teach you the disciplines. And then deposit your imagining the possibilities and believing that it's possible for you. Deposit that now into what we call high activity. Make this note now. Activity finishes the miracle process of turning nothing into something. Activity finishes the miracle process. I'm positive that's why the formula was given of 6 days of working miracles and 1 day of rest to ponder how it's going. How is my miracle working process working? Have I missed some? Devote 6 days to the working of miracles. The 7th day to rest and reflect and go back over and a bit of study. Yes, spiritual. Yes, church. Yes, synagogue. Yes, family. Yes, social. Yes, friends. But see if you can't now come up with a plan to increase your activity or refine your activity. Sharpen it so that it produces major results. Here's the next one. Take joy in the work. I couldn't wait to get here today to share my story one more time. I'm already pondering the testimonials that may come out of a class like this next year, a year from now, 5 years from now, if I happen to meet some of you and you say, on that summer weekend in Anaheim, I finally got it. The lights went on for me. Something you said and something someone else said finally made sense. And I hooked it together and here's what's happened. That's going to be extraordinary. Right? That's why we're here, to do this work. I was excited this morning about being here. Couldn't wait to hear what I've got to say. A lady asked me one time, she said, Mr. Rohn, over the last few years I've been to your seminars now several times. Every time I see you, you're all excited. Things seem to be going great for you. How do you stay so excited all the time? And I said, I think it's because I attend all these seminars. Because make this note now because it's very valuable. If you struggle to make something clear for someone else, it helps to make it more clear for you. If one person listens and one person speaks, there is the opportunity for transformation for both. The listener to be enlightened, to see something he never saw before, but the speaker to be better educated on how to present it by struggling with the language. Words are clumsy sometimes when you try to express what's going on in your head, let alone your heart and spirit. But the more you struggle to make it clear, the clearer it gets for you. So that both the listener could be transformed by what he hears, and the speaker could be transformed by the exercise of speaking, trying to make it clear. We're going to talk later about communication. It's almost a godlike quality, communicating, inspiring other people with your language. Now here's the last part, and I'm finished, and we're going to take then about a 10, 12-minute break, maybe 11 minutes. Here's the last one. Are you ready? Say, I'm ready. For the last one, develop the ability to share. Not just your money and your resources. One of the biggest things to share, of course, is your time, because you're limited on time. You can't get any more time. Big decision for me to make, to come spend this weekend with you instead of with my children and my grandchildren. Right? I'm already wealthy. I don't need the money. So why would I come? Because my children and my grandchildren know this is part of our collective experience. They enjoy the testimonials that come later as much as I do, the letters I get and the phone calls, and the response that people say, hey, your grandfather came and made an extraordinary contribution. See, my children and my grandchildren thrive on that story. So they were willing for me, instead of being in Carmel, sitting on the sand at the ocean where my grandchildren live, I'm here in Anaheim, California, spending this time with you. But I gladly do it. Here's why. It's an investment time for me to share, so that later comes the harvest. One, the harvest is by working hard to make it clear for you, I'm getting as much as you are. But then later, hearing the testimonials. So I'm asking you to do the same in every format possible, whether you're asked to do training, whether you're asked to do teaching, whether you're asked to make a speech, always say yes to the best of your ability, so that you'll have one more time to share, one more time to help somebody lift themselves from poverty to success, from doubt to faith, from illness to health, from skepticism to belief. One more chance, person to person, or class to class, or a little Sunday morning class, or a little home meeting, or a personal conversation at Denny's coffee shop. Tell somebody something good, something valuable. The payoff for you is in the attempt and the learning experience. And then the payoff later is to get someone's testimonial that's got your name included. So I want to thank you for spending all this time this morning. Let us now look at your watch, and let's be back at 10:31. Okay, just do the necessary quickly and come right back, because we've got to get back.
Hi, my name's Jeff Roberti. I live down in Sarasota, Florida, and I've been in network marketing now for 20 years. I got introduced to Jim Rohn back then. He's one of my original mentors, and some of the things he shared with me just changed my life forever. I've been a big student. I've kept myself in that learning environment, learning and growing with the books and the tapes, and like this weekend being here at this live seminar, and being able to spend 2 or 3 days with Jim and some of the other speakers is wonderful. And it's changed my life. I was a broke waiter, and in the last 20 years I've been able to earn in excess of $50 million in the network marketing industry. So thank you, Jim, and thank you so many others.
My name is Orrin Hudson, founder and president of BeSomeone.org. Oh, it's like getting a blank check on the future. I've learned so much, and some of the principles that I've learned for the last 30 years that I've known Jim Rohn has really transformed my life. I can remember when I was in the housing project, I couldn't afford his book, so I went to the library and they ordered it from another library that they didn't have. And just 30 years ago, I'm living my dream because of some of the concepts that I learned from Jim Rohn. For my life to get better, I had to get better, that no one was coming to the rescue. And when I learned this principle, my whole life has changed, and I started doing the things I need to do to be successful. When I realized that it was only me that could save myself. I recommend anyone in the world to really visit Jim Rohn. I bought all of his product and to distribute them to my brothers and sisters. I think what he's doing is the best teachings on the planet.
My name is Cindy Goodwin, and I live in New Hampshire, and I educate others for a living. And I'm constantly learning from Jim, and his personal philosophy about taking care of yourself for others so others can take care of themselves for you is something that we talk about in my house and with my students, and it's great. I'm still learning every day. It's why I'm here.
Hey, my name is Frederick Talon. I'm coming from Belgium. The reason why I come here to watch Jim Rohn, because he's a great inspirer. We read many books of him. We love him. And I would like to have his knowledge to help other people reaching the maximum in their life, and also want to follow them in his steps into the future.
Hello, I'm Suzanne from Belgium. The reason that I come here is because we had a couple of trainings before of him. He already inspired me a lot. Our personal life has changed a lot. Also, the financial dreams are coming true now in our life. We have more financial freedom. We help also a lot of other people also improve their life in health, but also in financial freedom. And it's really changing a lot of people. And that's what we like about Jim Rohn. And that's what we want to give. That's the reason why we are here.
Hello, I'm Geert Wells, also from Belgium. Almost 1 year ago I started with the 1-year plan from Jim Rohn, and the first 3 months already was incredible what happened. Just unbelievable in 90 days. So when we get the possibility just to attend the event, for me the decision was quick made. I want to go to see everything live and see what happens afterwards. It's just incredible. I was working 1 year hard work and nothing changed, and then with the 90 days, already just the first 90 days, I doubled my income in 90 days. I get a huge organization, a lot of people who like to work with me. I like to work with the other people. It was just incredible, only the start already.
My name is Michael Bennett. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm in direct sales, and I love Jim Rohn. When I first heard his tape about planting seeds, I listened to it like 15 times. And to see him in person is awesome because he's one of those people that speaks right to the soul of people, whether you're new in this business, you've been in this business a while. He's just an awesome guy. He's like a mentor that you can put in a CD or a tape. If you want to understand the cream of the crop and understand where it all comes down, come see Jim Rohn. Listen to Jim Rohn because he's the guy that taught most of the other people that inspire and motivate us.
Hi, my name is Charles Kelly. I'm from London. I've come here to see Jim Rohn. The reason I wanted to come here and actually see him is to see if he was better live than he is on tape. And I think so far he has been better live than on tape. This morning, I think I've got out of the situation this morning is he said, he keeps saying, why not? Why not go for it? Why not do something extraordinary with my life? And that's what I'm going to do. Thank you very much.
My name is James Blakemore, and I'm from Midland, Texas. About 8 years ago, I had the incredible opportunity to hear a gentleman speak. His name was James Rohn, and the 2-day seminar that I attended changed my life completely. I went from a person who was not even entitled to success to understanding why you become what you earn what you become, and you become successful by what you become. I continue to listen. I consume everything that Jim Rohn puts out. I attend every opportunity. At every opportunity I attend, every seminar, meeting, anytime I can get in front of the man, I do.
My name is Jeff Weisberg from Moore Park, California. I've been involved in my own business now for over 20 years. Had an opportunity many years ago to first hear from Jim Rohn, and I think it's very important that all the different growth that a person gets, they need to have continuous education. And Jim's amazing. At his age now, he's still running around the world helping and changing people's lives. And I think that for people that haven't had an opportunity to experience him, they need to. And for people that haven't had an opportunity to learn and develop and grow from his teachings and people that he's taught and mentored, it's definitely something you want to be part of.
Hello, everyone. This is Jerry Clark of ClubRhino.net. We're sitting here at the Jim Rohn Leadership Event in Anaheim, California. We have had a great time learning from some of the giants of the industry, such as Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, and the individual I have with me today, which is Dennis Waitley. And many of you know of Dennis Waitley because you've listened to several of his programs, just like I did a number of years ago. As a matter of fact, in 1986 is when I picked up some of his first training materials that I actually started learning from The Psychology of Winning, all-time best-selling classic. You have Seeds of Greatness, Being the Best, Empires of the Mind. I mean, I can go on and on with the programs that Dennis have come out with. And Dennis, he also, for 12 years, has been the Olympic coach, like the mental toughness, the mental training coach for the Olympic athletes. And so we are fortunate to have him here today. He's taking some time out to share some insights and so forth. So, Dennis, we want to welcome you here with us.
Thanks, Jerry. It's great to be with you.
Now, the first question, you're talking about mental toughness. This is really important because a lot of people listening and watching right now, they want to know, how do they develop a mental toughness in life, in business life, as far as people who are entrepreneurial-minded, they're out there doing things that are a little different than a regular population as far as, you know, they want to make things happen on their own. How do they develop that mental toughness that it's really going to take in order to make it?
I think one of the first things is to always be prepared for a surprise, and the surprise is likely to be a negative surprise every day. Something's going to happen in your day, whether you're going to be late behind a train, your car's going to have a flat tire, something's going to happen to you, and the ability to be able to take molehills and continue to make them molehills instead of mountains, to look at problems as being normal. Problems are a normal part of change, so because we're changing so rapidly, there are going to be a lot of problems you face. And to look at failure as an event. That's the important thing. Failure is not a person. I'm not a failure. I've had a failure. I've had a temporary inconvenience. I've had a stumbling block. And the idea is to turn a stumbling block into a stepping stone and step on it rather than stumble over it. So I always say, look at failure as the fertilizer of success.
Wow.
Fertilizer stinks. It smells, you know, I mean, you put it on your grass and you say, wow, that guy's just fertilized his lawn. Sure, you fertilize your life with your mistakes. You don't wallow in them, you don't lay in them, you don't roll in them. You pick yourself up off your mistake and you learn from it and try not to repeat that same thing again. But you look at it as a temporary inconvenience. It's a detour. It's a detour in life is a failure.
So are these the same principles that the athletes, the Olympic athletes, use when they, or maybe they're in practice or so forth, and they do a routine and it doesn't work out the way they really felt it should have worked out, or they're actually in the Olympic Games and they don't win that gold medal? Typically, they don't just give up and say, oh, forget it. You know, typically they come back 4 years later and they go at it again, and they're doing years and years of practice just to get back to that point. So are you saying it's the same type of mindset that it takes to be a champion in athletics, that it takes to be a champion in business?
Absolutely. There's two times when you use it: before you perform and right after. So it's called simulation and then replay. Wow. And the replay after a failure is as important as the replay after a success. So the idea is, when you miss, you say, that's not like me, I'm better than that. That's not like me, come on, get with it. So you teach an athlete to slap his thigh and say, come on, that's not like you, let's get with it. Let's get going now. Come on, let's get back on it. Let's get back on the ball. And so I'm learning myself in my life. I say, come on, Dennis, that's not like you. You're a lot better than this. You're better than this, so let's get back to where we belong here. Let's remember what we've learned. Let's slow down, take a deep breath, focus, relax, concentrate, and follow through. Next time, we'll get it right. And the important thing is to look at a failure as an event, a single performance that you must take and make lead back to the original goal. The problem is most people say, oh man, I blew it. Oh gee. And they rest on that and they reinforce that mistake instead of taking it and correcting it to the target. So it's really important to do target correction.
So basically what you're saying is that it's just all these are mental strategies, mental tools that we can use as kind of like reforming our self-talk. Instead of saying the negative, disempowering type things, say the positive and empowering type things. And so in order for a person to get to a point where they're used to doing that, because initially it seems like they have to consciously think about, making sure that they say an empowering word or empowering phrase. So to get to that point, does it require, your regular reading books, going to seminars like the Jim Rohn leadership event we're at right now, listening to tapes and so forth? Does it require those type of things to even get to that point? Or can anyone who hasn't even done a lot of personal development just say, hey, I'm going to choose to have really good self-talk?
Well, it's pretty hard to go cold turkey on anything, mainly because you don't really stop a habit, you replace a habit. And if it's habitual, a habitual way of talking or feeling or explaining, I call it the positive explanatory style versus the negative explanatory style. So I like
to explain the explanatory styles.
Yeah. Well, I like to interview people, and I ask them how it's going. And I ask them, if it's, what kind of day is it for you? And if the weather enters into the picture, then I know that it's not mental, because the weather is an external factor. So if the externals in life are the things that determine whether you have a good day or not, you're being, if you will, you're a thermometer. A thermometer is a passive device that lays there and tell you how the world is doing on the outside. A thermostat is what you set on the temperature that you want. Then it controls the air conditioning and the heating. If you look at your body and brain as the hardware in your computer, and you look at the software as the things you put in your mind, you have a software program that drives the hardware. So the software is what you need to program with the instructions to have the computer follow directions. And so you tell the computer what you want it to do, and the software program determines the outcome of what the computer does. Most people don't know how to program their software to get the outcomes they want.
And the sad thing is that most people's software has already been programmed by someone else.
No question.
And so now they're
every
operating
day.
from that, right? Every day. Constantly.
Yeah, it's been programmed by the evening news. It's being programmed by sitcoms, reality TV shows, commercials. They tell us what to eat. They tell us what to buy. They tell us how to dress. They tell us what to think. They tell us who to vote for. And we just listen and we say, wait a minute, I'm too smart for that. I'm not going to pay any attention to that. Too late. Wow. Observation, imitation, repetition.
Right.
Habit,
amazing.
practice, secondhand smoke, secondhand violence, secondhand. It goes in and sticks.
Secondhand
and even if
TV.
we don't want to do it, we do it anyway. It's called the perception to buy. The advertising manipulates perception, so you buy what they want you. And the same thing is true with self-talk and controlled thinking. Makes you control your habits so that you do maybe what's good for you. And the question is, who's putting what into your mind? Is it junk food in your mind, or are you putting in some stuff that really makes your mind work well?
Wow. And so basically what you're talking about is that even if someone says, I'm not really watching TV to watch the TV, I have it on. So, they might be sleeping and they have the TV on. But what you're saying is if all that positive stuff going in, it's like if you put something, you got something in your throat and you have to cough, you got to get it out, right? Yep. Okay, and then if you got to get it out, and if you keep it in, then what's going to happen is, it's just going to stay in. It's still there. So are you saying that no matter what, it still comes in, even if you just have it like secondhand TV, so to speak?
Well, yeah, it's true. It does go in unless you're asleep. There's been a misnomer. In other words, you really don't learn while you sleep. So sleep learning, the Russians tried it, and the important thing about sleep is you need to dream. And you dream about every 30 to 40 minutes. You go down into a deep sleep, come back up and have a dream. So you have so many dreams per night. If you tried to learn stuff while you're asleep, it would interrupt your dreams, and you would be irritable, and you would actually be a little bit paranoid. So the best time to get inputs is when you're relaxed, not paying attention to it. And that's where television and commercials and radio and all these things have the biggest impact on teenagers, because they're really not paying that much attention to it. What they say is, look, the lyrics don't mean anything to me. I like the beat.
Right.
I like the beat, but the lyrics, I don't pay any attention. Well, the truth is,
that's worse.
They don't have to pay attention because it's going in and sticking anyway.
So in order to reprogram ourselves, then, it's going to take just a constant, injecting ourselves, so to speak, with, like materials that you've come out with over the years. C's a Great Psychology of Winning, which is one of the best-selling audio programs of Nightingale Conant of all times. Going to events like this, like the Jim Rohn event, going to your different trainings that you do, just constantly bombarding or saturating your mind. It's kind of like a reverse brainwashing, so to speak, because everyone tells me, they say, Jerry, you're just brainwashing people, when they come to my seminars. You're brainwashing people and so forth. And I just say, hey, they've already been brainwashed.
No, it's the opposite.
Yeah,
it's called dehypnosis.
Dehypnosis.
It's dehypnotizing what they've already been hypnotized, because hypnosis means sleep. Hypno from sleep. So hypnosis is when you learn when you're relaxed and you repeat things, but you didn't remember that you learned them. So you dehypnotize people by helping them take in stuff that's good for them, rather than not recognize they're taking in stuff that's bad for them. Wow. So obviously you have to read a lot of books, listen to a lot of programs, listen to positive radio, watch the Discovery Channel, watch National Geographic, listen to great music, and go out to ethnic restaurants and watch people who are doing great things, and you know, really get involved with people who are trying to make a difference in the world. And the next thing you know, you say, wow, some of that stuff's rubbing off on me.
Now, what do you say to someone who's, you know, they're watching and they're listening right now, and they're saying, you know, one of the things is that I listen to tapes and I read the books and so forth, but when it comes to really taking action, sometimes I might start to take an action, and then I kind of like stop. So they're not able to be consistent with the action they know they should be taking, and so they end up procrastinating. What do you say to people like that?
Well, I say that's a little voice inside you that tells you can't do it. It's the voice of fear. We all have that little voice inside of us. So what you say to them is find someone who will keep you honest by making you accountable by having a buddy. And the buddy says, wait a minute, you and I said we said we were going to meet at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I showed and you didn't. Come on. You said you were going to be there. And when you announce to somebody else that you're going to do something, you kind of make a commitment back and forth to a friend. So it's really important maybe not to try to do it alone, because by ourselves, I'm a great procrastinator. I was going to go to the program, but I put it off. You know, I went to the memory program, but I forgot where I put the tapes.
Now, what about happiness? That's one key thing that people ask me all the time. They say, you know, how do I become happy? You know, it's like a lot of people are chasing things in order to be happy. They think they have to get something in order to be happy. What's your take on happiness, and what is happiness, and where can people get it or find it for people that are chasing for it?
That's just it. You can't drive it, you can't wear it, you can't live in it, you can't drink it, smoke it, snort it, you can't travel to it. Happiness is the experience of the journey. It's like brushing your teeth or driving your car. It's a second nature kind of thing, and it doesn't come as a result of anything. Because if you're waiting for results to make you happy, there are going to be good results and bad results. So you'll be happy sometimes and sad other times. The experience of happiness becomes a way of looking at everything. And so I am happy because that's the way I am, because that's the way I've been thinking. But it isn't a result of anything that's happened to me. I just decided to be a happy guy. And so when I look at something, I say, can do, no problem. That's not going to make me unhappy. And they say, come on, you just came back from Africa. There are 400,000 child refugees from AIDS over there. Don't tell me that doesn't make you sad. I said, it makes me compassionate. It makes me want to do something. It makes me grateful that I live where I live. It makes me not want to waste. It makes me want to help them. But it can't make me unhappy, because if it makes me unhappy, I wouldn't have the energy or the excitement to help them. I wouldn't have the passion, because passion, in my case, comes from being excited and being happy.
And that's powerful, is that it's a choice. And that's a really
Happiness is a choice. It really is a choice. And people say, come on, how
Can't
can
be
I
that easy, right?
How can I be happy? And you say, well, try it. You know.
Because for people thinking that it's going to take something else, when they get that something else, then they start to realize, well, maybe this is not it. Maybe it's going to take something else. So they're always looking for something else to make them happy. And that's probably one of the reasons that actually causes some of the addictions and some of the things that we have, is because once they realize it's not that, they start feeling depressed. And, oh, my goodness, what is it? And then they start all this addictive behavior.
Well, a lot of there's an answer to a riddle, too. And the riddle is, do we sing because we're happy, or do we become happy because we sing? But yes, the answer is true. So let's say you're not happy. I believe that if you sing a happy song, the lyrics and the tune will create more happiness in you. So as simple as it sounds, if you're singing a happy song, the mind doesn't know the difference that you're unhappy or happy. So when I sing, you know, it's like whistling when you're afraid.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
You say, why are you whistling? Well, I'm afraid, and I'm trying to whistle myself out of being afraid. Well, it really happens that way. And so I try to sing a happy song in life, even if I'm not really happy at the moment, and it gets me back into where I think I belong.
Wow. So as we're wrapping up here, why do you feel it's important for people to come to events like the Jim Rohn Leadership event that we're at right now, and all the different trainings that you do and Brian Tracy does and all the other trainers out there that have great and valuable information to share? Why do you think that's important for people who are listening or watching right now to constantly